I'm Krishna. I'm having 10 years of industrial experience working for a global MNCs.
So we discussed about what is data warehouses, what is data lakes, right? So how the data has to be processed, which one have a processing cost more, which one have a storage cost more. So which one has to be used at what time? What is data lake? If someone is using a data lake, what is the purpose of it? Okay. So we discussed this also. And we discussed the variations, right? So data where it will have a structured data lake can have in any kind of structured data. So majorly it will be used for all the investigation purpose or the analytical purpose. So whatever the data which you are loading in a data lake, okay, are holding on your data lake, it might not be useful for the immediate use. They will be use it for the different analytics. It can wait for some time. Okay. But data warehouse data will be make it available for the reporting purposes. Okay, that also we discussed. And then what else we have discussed? Okay, ETL and ELT
Data,
was required.
data warehouse stored in structured format. Follow
Yeah,
the structure.
correct. So data warehouse will be used for to store the structured data. So always the data warehouses will have a structured data. Data lake can have any structured data. Okay, it could be in a semi-structured, unstructured, or structured data. Anything if you want to store it on a data lake, it's possible to do it. Okay, so majorly the data lake will be used for the raw data, which is unprocessed data will not be having any meaning. Okay, so this all we discussed. Okay, so any questions till now what we discussed? Okay, I take as no questions then. So let's move on to Snowflake Marketplace. Okay, so Marketplace is one of the service providing by a Snowflake. Okay, so can someone is unmuted? Akila, right? So yeah, good. Good. So what is Marketplace does is Marketplace helps you to get a data. Okay, a real time data or a real data. I would call it as in a real data. Okay, so this real marketplace is something like a place where you can buy a data or provide a data or you can evaluate the data. Okay, you can publish the data, you can evaluate the data, and you can use the data for your testing purposes. Okay, so what happens is there will be a different companies in the world, throughout the world. What they do is they will directly put their data onto this marketplace, Snowflake marketplace. Okay, so what they do is there are two types of people here. Okay, one is like a providers and consumers. What providers will do is providers will be supplying this data. Okay, example, now you can take any one product data. So I would say IBM has a some products are there. Okay, now IBM is going to produce the data saying that this many consumers are, this many people are using, this many customers I have it, these are the types of customers I have it, they will be from this all locations, they have some set of data they have it. Okay, that's a real data, that's a real data of the company. So what they do is they will create this kind of data and they will be start publishing it on a marketplace. Okay, so as they are publishing it, they are the providers. Okay, as they are providing the data, there will be three types of data will be available. One is free. Okay, one is paid. Okay, one is exchange. Okay, exchange are paid only, so similar fashion, it's a free and paid. Okay, what you need to do is free for try, paid. So what you can do is think that you have built some application. Okay, now you need some data to test your applications. Okay, so now you need a data to test your applications, so you don't need to go any place to find out the relevant data for you. What happens is when you go into the Snowflake marketplace. Okay, so if I go here, okay, so there is, you see here the marketplace. So you see here there is a multiple data available from the multiple categories. So you can go and see these are all the companies. Okay, these are all the companies are providing, there are numerous number of companies are available, so where you can able to get the data. Okay, so entity data, there are multiple companies who are supplying the data for us. Okay, this data will be two types. As I said, it's a free and paid. So some companies will make you to use their data in a free. Okay, so now safe graph, right? So they explain that this is about the travel demographic stuff. Okay, so you can download their data. Okay, you can download the data and you can able to bring your data into your particular dashboards, sorry, particular worksheets. And in worksheets, you can start working with this particular data to test your applications. Okay, data who are providing to us. Okay, data who are providing here, they are called the providers. Okay, data who are going to use this one, people are called consumers. Okay, so as a person, you also can become a consumer here. Okay, so you also can become a provider here. So as an individual also can become a provider here. So what you need to do is you have to go for your listings and you need to give it. So what you need to do is once you have your data is ready with you, okay, so now what you need to do is you can go here and you can able to list your particular data. Okay, so if we come down, okay, so now you become a provider. Okay, so if you think you have some relevant data is available, that data can be helpful for your some information. Okay, some application. So example now, so this snowpark for Python hands-on lab weather data. Okay, so weather data is going to be in real time. So what is going to be, what is today's weather, what is tomorrow's prediction? So this will be every day, it will be refreshing for you. Example like a weather, example like a traffic. Okay, this all some of the databases, some of the companies here that are providing data sets, the information they are providing here, okay, those are real time. That means they will be continuously pushing the latest information over on this marketplace. Okay, so you can use it if you want to become a provider. So what you'll do is you have to become a provider by listing it. So for listing it, you have to agree few stuff. Okay, once you agree few stuff, what will happen is you can put a cost on top of it, saying that I want to sell this for $10, $5. Okay, or partial data I want to sell it for $10. Okay, like that you can list your data also into a marketplaces. Okay, so this mainly this marketplace help you, right? So because these are all the third party companies, right? So this is not our company. As a company, think I am an individual working for some company, I have built some application and I want to test that. Okay, example, my application is all about financials. Okay, think there is a financial data is available, go to financial data, check which company. There are many companies like this. Okay, if you're dealing with the card levels, okay, if a new card is going to be introduced by your company, check if there is any free data available for a card. Okay, you see Mastercard is there. Okay, check this data, probably might help you. Okay, so you see here free and request. So this request can be free sometime and sometime it is a paid. So when you send a request, if the company agrees that yes, you can utilize our data, so you can use it. Okay, sometimes what they do is they will ask you to pay some money for it, or they might give it for free also. Okay, some will be directly paid. Okay, some will be you have to pay and start utilizing the data. Okay, so two things. So not a major stuff. Okay, there is interview, there is chances they will ask you. If you go to the actual companies also, sometimes they will be using this data to train their models, right? So you have created some logic. Okay, you have created some logic, you have written a very huge logic with the different combinations. Okay, now you have to train that logic. Instead of training, so you say you have to test that logic with a different set of information. So where you can able to bring this data, cooking up the data or preparing the data is going to take a very long time for you. If there is a similar kind of data is available from a real company, so that is going to help you a lot, right? So in that cases, we will be going into the marketplace and we will be checking if there is any data is being going to help us to train our models. What you can do is you can request them and get it. If it is a free, we can get it. Okay, the people who are providing the data on a marketplace called as a providers. Okay, people who are going to consume it is going to be a consumers. Okay, so you can also become a consume provider by listing your data. Okay, listing your data, so you can list your data as an individual also, and then you can able to put a price tag on top of it. Okay, so now as the data is available, we can explore it and we can access this data, right? So majorly for what reasons I said this data, right? So historical data, things that how the company, bank company, card, Mastercard itself, right? How the Mastercard has been performed in 2021, historical data. Okay, so now what you can do is you can use that historical data or forecasting data, right? So traffic, so for this all days, last year, new year, what is the traffic we have it at a particular place? What is the forecasting now? Okay, so if you have created any machine learning languages or something, this data is going to help you a lot. Okay, so it's not only for that, right? So understanding customer behavior also, this data is going to help you a lot. Okay, so by understanding this data, either it is a forecast, either it is a customer behavior, either it is a some whatever it could be, right? Historical data. So based on this, we will be getting a new insights. Okay, so instead of you going into preparing a data, which is a waste of time for the company, right? So preparing a data, this huge amount of data preparing is going to be a lot of time taking. Okay, so for that reason, Snowflake itself has a marketplace. As an individual or as a company, you can sell your data for the different peoples. Okay, so selling as a third party and selling to the other companies. Okay, so this selling can happen in real time. So I mean to say, like, the data can be coming as a real time. Whatever the company is performing, they are ready to put this kind of data into the marketplace. They're okay. It's a real time. Some will be historical data will be available. Okay. So does it make sense? Marketplace.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So simple, right? So very simple and very layman to understand it also. Marketplace. I don't know how many of you folks know in US and UK, some places in India also, there is an app. Or else how many of you folks are there in Facebook, right? In Facebook, there is a section called as a marketplace. Okay. So you can go to that session and you can able to sell anything. Okay, similar fashion. So here we are talking about a data. So you have any old furniture if you want to sell, if you have something else, if you have started a bakery something, you want to sell your cakes, you can go and post your something. Okay, in a similar phase, there also they call it as a marketplace. Here also we're calling it as a marketplace. Okay, marketplace don't know, no Soumya, they it's a public globally they will be providing. Okay, there will be it's a globally unique. So there will be anyone can use it. Okay, usually what happens is so some data, right? Example, I would say, what I can say example is, right, so Indian RBA, right? So example, in India, RBA will not agree you to put the transaction information out of the country, right? Indian accounts or Indian transactions, whatever is happening, that will be always stored in a Indian data centers only. It will not go out of the country. Okay, so in that case scenarios, that data will be might be differing. Okay, they would have been not published the data at all. But majorly this is about how business and the customers behaviors. Okay, so that was weather information. This is all not going to be in a PA or a PCA information. It's not personal identification information. So that kind of data will be available. Okay. Okay. So you can send a request. So once you request someone, right? So now I need this guy's data. Okay. I can send a request to him. Once you send a request, you will be seeing what are all the requests you have been raised. Okay. And if they have been agreed it for a free of cost, it's okay. If not, you just need to pay the money and start utilizing the data. Okay. So this is about the marketplace. Okay, so next one, you on a UI level walkthrough, right? Worksheets. Okay, so we are going to develop everything over worksheets. Okay, so everything over a worksheet. So worksheets have two types in a Snowflake. One is in a SQL worksheet and one is like in a Python worksheet. Okay, one place where we are going to write all the SQL code and building the our app, utilizing the features, and we will be building the pipelines. Okay, and second thing is we will be writing a Python worksheet when we are going to learn a Snowpark. Once we are completed our Python training, right, we'll go to Snowpark, and using that Snowpark, we will be writing a Python worksheet. We'll using Python worksheet. Python worksheet on a Snowflake UI, we will use it, and we will be doing the same Python code over a Visual Studio also into it. Okay, so two sheets will come. One is a SQL sheet and one is in a Python sheets. Okay, and shared with me, right? So now example, Salman has working something on his worksheet. He has some work and he has built some logics and all. Now he wants to share that data with Soumya. Okay, so he can share that worksheets with Soumya. Okay, the whole logic he can able to share with Soumya. Okay, you don't need to save that worksheet into your local and send it via email or place it somewhere where Soumya can able to take it out. Okay, so what he can do is he can able to save that worksheet, and that worksheet can be shared with the account. So how can you share within a Soumya is Soumya will have a unique number like this. Okay, if we go here, when we click this one, right, so you go here, you see this one copy button. When you click this copy button, it will copy the unique identifier for you. Okay, let me quickly put it over here. So this is my unique identifier. Okay, so I will be giving this details while I'm sharing it. Okay, so that Soumya, everyone, right? So now you guys can able to check. Everyone will have some unique number like this. Okay, and this numbers will be helpful to share the informations. Okay, this will help you to share the information with each other. This will help you to connect it from the outside of the Snowflake also. Okay, so we'll discuss more and more about this. Okay, so let's go through that. So worksheets also can be shared between accounts to accounts. One good feature, right? So you don't need to save something and do it. Okay. So what are the worksheets you have been worked on? If you want to create a folders, you can create a folder saying that you create the folders, and each folders you can save your SQL sheets. It's like example, you working on a multiple departments. You're working for a retail and you're working for a sale somewhere. Okay. So all your retail work can be stored in a retail folder, and sales, all you can work in your sales folders. Okay. So next one. So anybody have doubts on these worksheets? Okay. So next one is data level, right? So if you go here, data level here, you see there is a databases. So we are going to create a databases for ourselves also. So for everyone who are created an account, for them there will be a two databases will be already created by a Snowflake as a trial account. This will guys will give some sample data for you to practice it. Okay. So what we do is we will create a new database reading a data from a marketplace. Okay. So we will build a tables. There are different types of tables are there, right? So we'll learn tables and we'll start building a tables using the marketplace data. Okay. And in a fashion, how we create it, we will create in a star schema way. Okay. So we want to learn the facts and dimensions in both star schema and the Snowflake schema. So as a first level, we will be reading a data from here and we will start building a facts and dimensions in a star schema model. Okay. We will learn what is a star schema, what is a Snowflake schema, what is the facts and dimensions. Okay. For that, we will create a database and we will learn from them. Okay. So now you see there is a two databases which is already created for you. Okay. So these databases are there. Let me quickly open these databases. So you see the databases are there. Under databases, these are all the schemas. Okay. There are different schemas being created. Okay. So very, very important one is this information schema. Okay. All your metadata. Okay. All your metadata is going to be stored under your information schema. Okay, so let's check it out. I'll go to the worksheet. What kind of metadata it provides us? Okay, so I'm going here, information schema. You see here under very, very important questions. This question is under information schema, where your metadata stores in your Snowflake. Okay, from where you can access your metadata is a information schema. Okay, your information schema is going to provide you all the metadata informations. Okay, so under information schema, what are the tables you will be seeing? Very invalid question. Okay, under information schema, are there any tables? Any tables? This is no tables will be present. If you see here, okay, very important interview question. So they will be saying that usually what happens is lot of databases right now on-premise databases are the some cloud databases also. What will happen is they provide the metadata tables, okay, but they will not provide the metadata views. So here what Snowflake does is it hides the tables, okay, it hides the tables and it will make sure to provide only the views which are pre-calculated for you. Okay, there are views which you can able to utilize it for your analytical purpose. What happened? Investigation purposes. Okay, so if someone asks you saying that what are the tables are available under information schema, there are no tables, only views will be applied, views will be there, and the views logics are being already written by a Snowflake, and we will be just using the views to see the data. Yeah. Any questions, Sampath? Okay. Yeah, so no tables, only views will be available. Okay, now what kind of views are available? You see here under information schema, there are different types of views are available. Applicable rows, classes instances, okay, databases. Okay, many things are available. Packages, streamlines. Okay, so usage privileges. So there are many tables. Okay, so now example, I want to understand what are the tables are available. Okay, select start from information schema dot tables. Okay, so this will get me all the tables what are all existing in that particular database. Okay, so let me select my database here. Okay, I have selected my database. Okay, so always it's a good practice to give a fully qualified name. So what is fully qualified name that we have discussed in our SQL also? Fully qualified name is always provide your database name. So usually what happened, what we have done with MySQL, I used to use database, something like that, right? You can do that also here. Use database, okay, Snowflake sample data. Okay, so this is, let me put it here. Okay, so now you are using your database. Okay, so now if you think that you didn't set anything here, okay, think that I have set it with another one now here. Okay, so I'm running this. Okay, so now my database got changed here. Okay, now I'm using this particular database. Okay, so inside this database you want to use a different schema now. Okay, so you can select it from here or you can select it from anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to put it as schema here. So now what I need to do is I need to see what kind of metadata this tables view will get it for me. Okay, so I'm just simply going to run this. Okay, so there are many tables. So you see here, there are many tables are available. Okay, so in these tables, it is saying that which catalog means which database it is available, which schema the table is available. Okay, all the tables information, right? So it is saying transient table or not. We will learn what is a transient table. Okay, and then it is asking clustering key. Is there a clustering? We will discuss about what is a clustering key. So I was saying, right, when we are talking about a clustering, advantage of a clustering and a non-advantage of a clustering, disadvantage of clustering, that also we discuss. Okay, how much each table count is. Okay, it is providing this metadata also, how much it is storing the data. Okay, so how many records. Okay, this bytes is nothing but a storage, so always the storage will be calculated in GBs and all, right? So in this GBs, how many bytes are there? It's a space. Okay, so retention time, how many days of a retention time. So if the table gets dropped, how many days it needs to be available, so that retention time, like that, there will be a huge metadata will be available here. Okay, when it is created, okay, created by whom. Okay, so you will be getting all this information over here. Okay, so similarly, all your metadata will be available here. So example, now you have any so I would say yeah, here you see they have stages, right? Is there any stages created? If multiple people would have created multiple stages, now I want to understand what are all the stages are there, who created the stages. Okay, the place where you someone asks you saying that if they want to understand the objects, okay, an object's information or information about this Snowflake account. Okay, whatever the information is available in your Snowflake account, right? So which place you have to come and search is information schema. Okay, you need to come and search it in your information schema. Okay, so information schema is the where your metadata is going to be stored. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Going forward, we will see a lot in this information schema, and warehouse metering also we will be learning a lot. Okay, so we will see multiple things going forward. Okay, anybody have questions on this? Okay.
So I have a question. So we are in the sample data database and then the information schema, right?
Yes.
So when we create a new database, how does that work? Do we come back? Is this the information schema?
As soon as you create a database, Snowflake will create two schemas for you. One is an information schema and one is a public schema for you. Okay, so let me quickly create a database now. Okay, so I'm going to this data. Okay, I'm creating a database, a sample database. Okay, I'll just call it as a sample database. Okay, so optional I'm giving. Okay, my database is created for me. I'm just going to this. So you see here, automatically it creates an information schema and a public schema for you. Okay, information schema is going to hold all your metadata, whatever you're going to create under this particular database. Okay, and then public schema, they will be, it's your wish. What Snowflake traits is, so you start building your work under this public schema. Okay, ideally we don't create anything under public schema. What we do is public. This name is called public. Doesn't sounds good when you go into real companies, right? So what we'll do is we will be creating our own schemas. Example, I would say, so I would say schema, right? So I'll come here. Where is the schema? Public, right? So I don't want to create a public. So let me create schema. So I want to create a schema called sales. Okay, so if you want to give an access to multiple people, you can manage the keys. Okay, this we will discuss going forward. I don't want more details myself. Okay, so now I have created another schema. So I'll just refresh it. So sales is there. So sales got created for me. So I will be creating all my sales related information under this particular schema. Okay, so now whatever you're going to do under a sales will get listened by this information schema, and information schema will be capturing a metadata. Okay, does that make sense, Soumya?
Okay.
Any other questions here? So we will see this, how to create the schemas, right? So there is a lot of work you can do it via directly UI itself. So now I'm creating it, right? You see here, this all can be created directly by UI itself. But what we will do is we will create using in a commands. Okay, creating from a UI is very easy. Okay, probably I'll show how to create using a UI and then immediately we'll jump on to writing in the commands. Okay, anybody have questions on this metadata information schema? Very important question for a certification and very important interview questions. Okay, this metadata interview questions, when you go for a Snowflake on a metadata level, there will be a definite question. There will be a definite question. The questions can be like, I want to get what are all the temporary tables available in particular schema. How can you write it? Okay, he's talking about the tables, type of tables. all your mind should go to that. He's asking information schema. Go to information schema dot tables where is temporary is equals to yes. Okay.
Krishna, here everything is
Yeah.
in the information schema is used, right?
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, go ahead.
See, under information schema, we only see as views.
Yes, correct.
But where the tables comes in?
Yeah, tables will be
Yeah,
hidden
views.
by a Snowflake. In backend, it will create the tables. On top of the tables, the views will be created. So in a Snowflake, you will be seeing only the views. Hidden tables you will be not doing. Okay,
So
because
we
it
don't
is
have
all
access to the
controlling by
view
Snowflake.
tables.
Yeah, and you won't be getting access to edit this also. Okay, information schema
Okay.
is totally
Information schema is only be handled by admins. If
it's only
anything should be done, we can't access anything.
exactly. So you can use it only for you can use it, but you cannot edit it. You're just a reader of it.
Reader of it. Okay.
I'll just take it 2 questions. What is public means? So Akzar, so what it says public is Snowflake team. So says that they by after you creating any schema, sorry, any database, they will give 2 schemas for you by default. Okay, one is information schema and one is public schema. Okay, information schema is all for your metadata. Public schema, what they have given is instead of you create another schema, right? I have created a schema called public. If you want, create your tables under here and you start working it. Okay. So I can create a table under public. So I can go create a table under public. Okay. So I can write some tables information here and I can create a table, not a problem. Okay. But is it relevant to your project is something you can think of. Okay. If you think I can put some public tables over here, you can create it. If not, create your own schema and departmental wise, you can go and create your particular tables, relevant for that. It is easy to identify it. All sales data will be under sales schema. Okay. Sorry, let me take the another question. Okay, what is public? Azhar, you got it now? Okay. Uh, there is one more question. Kanna, you asked something, right? You're
Yeah,
good?
yeah.
You're good?
Yeah, is there any default schema, something like that, DB or something, or we need to always create schema?
You default schema is this one. Public is a default now. Okay, you
Okay.
can create under this one, but always you have to create all objects should be under your schema only. So the fully qualified name or the fully qualified structure is always database dot schema dot your objects. Okay, this is the way you need to follow. Okay, you should need a database, you should need a schema under it, and you should need a objects creating under it. Okay,
Okay.
so parents, child, and child, super child. Okay, we will learn while going forward, right? When we drop this particular objects, so when we drop the schema, when we drop this database, how objects is going to behave. Okay, while cloning also how it happens. So that and all, it will be very helpful to understand this. Okay, how do we
Fine.
use marketplace data to work on understanding Snowflake? Can we use those data? Yes, Soumya, we are going to use marketplace data only. Okay, so there is a UK NHS data is there. Okay, let me go. Okay, so NHS data is there. Let me type in. Okay, so why it is not showing? Yeah, NHS. You see your NHS just came in. Okay, this is a health sector data. Okay, so we will learn this health sector data. So we will be using this UK health facts and dimension sample. Okay, so this information we are going to use it. So this will be having all the health information. A patient, what is the diagnosis happened? What are the things being done? Okay, what are the medication being happened? How many days the medication happened? So all the health information will be available. That product, whatever the medicine you used, right? What is the product will be sold by which company? So we'll use this data. Okay, we'll use this data and then we will start creating our own database and we will be creating a facts and dimension tables on top of this. Okay, so this is a marketplace data. So I will be accessing, checking with these guys. I need this data to me. Okay, and then with using this data, we will be building and we will be doing all our analytic on top of it. Okay, or whatever the pipelines we have to create on top of it, we'll create it. Okay. Okay.
Krishna, I have a doubt here.
Yes, go ahead.
So basically here we'll have the transactional data and OLTP data as well, data tables created.
Yeah. So yeah, tables one. Yeah, I think I've just missed that particular point. It's very important point. Okay. So Snowflake is designed for a OLAP. Okay. So let me go back a step back. Okay. So OLTP, OLAP. What is OLTP, OLAP, guys? I think we discussed this one.
Online transaction processing,
Yeah.
OLTP.
Just a moment. Just give me one
Online
second.
analytical processing.
Yeah, sorry. What is OLTP and OLAP?
OLTP is online transaction processing.
Hmm.
OLAP is online analytical processing.
Correct, right? Okay. So online analytical processing, right? So what is exactly difference when we use OLTPs and when we use OLAPs?
OLTP is basically the main application data, like every day's transaction data will be present in the OLTP, whereas
Layman term, right?
OLAP.
Yeah, in very layman term, every day's transaction can be done on OLTP also. Okay, but what are the what is the speciality of this OLTP?
This is a real-time data we are doing.
Real time, and a real time data can be available on a OLAP also. What is the speciality, the flavor of this OLTPs?
The major operation is insert and update, maybe.
A small insert, small updates that
Update.
fine. Okay, small inserts, small updates, and small deletes can happen. That is also fine. But exactly one more, I mean, major point we are missing here.
Historical data.
What is that? Sorry.
Historical data.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get it still.
Historical data.
Only contains some limited data. In OLAP, we have historical data, but OLTP.
The limitation is there.
Limitation. What is meant by you limitation?
Data storage.
No, there is nothing like that. If you have a space available, you can able to store as much as possible. There is no limitation of data storing. I mean, people who are from MySQL, I think we discussed this OLTP and OLAP.
OLTP is the summarized data. This OLTP is not summarized. Data is
No, OLTP will not have a summarized data. OLAP will have a summarized data. If you're talking about that, summarized is nothing but an aggregated data. Okay. So see what happens with the transaction OLAPs, right? So what happens? OLTPs are constrained databases, right? So you guys agree that it's a constrained databases?
The normalization system.
Normalization, you can call it as a normalization because the data is a very granular.
Yes.
Okay. So what is that? So transaction, right? I would say, I'm having an ATM card. Okay. At the same point in time, now what is the time? 7:20. 720. Think that 7:20, 10 seconds. 10 seconds, 10 milliseconds. Okay. From a card, I have withdrawn 500 rupees twice. Is it a valid transaction? Okay, and let me repeat it again. 7:20, 10 seconds, 10 milliseconds. Okay, I have made a 2 card transaction. Okay, from ATM. Is it a valid?
Yes, valid.
How could it is valid? Can you able to withdraw with your ATM card?
Not valid.
No, one by one. Okay.
No, at the
At
same
the same
point.
time, no.
That
No,
7:20, 10 seconds, 10 milliseconds.
not possible.
Not possible, right? So if I try to load this data into your transactional databases, what will happen?
It will not allow to do that.
It should not allow, because you can able to put that kind of constraints on this databases. Okay, you can able to put that kind of constraints on this databases. When it comes to OLAP, right? OLAP will never bother about whether you have done 10 transactions or 50 transactions at the same time. I don't worry about it. Okay, you get me the data, I will be loading, because this is a non-constrained databases. First understand very baseline here, not constrained databases. Okay, because it's a design that way. Okay, so if OLTP was there, why OLAP should be available for us, right? OLTP is, you want to have the transaction level should be very neat, right? This is an invalid scenario. No company is interested to have this data. Okay, but they want to capture this kind of information, which will be very neat. That neatness, how you can maintain is when you are applying the constraints, that constraints can be applied only on your OLTP databases. Okay, so when you come to OLAP databases, there is no constraints. Okay, there is no primary key, there is no foreign keys, there is nothing like that. Okay, what is the purpose of this OLAP designs? Is if there are any 2 transactions happen like this, or if there is any duplicate records being generated, or someone has invalidly injected this data into this one, how we are going to analyze that? Okay, it's purely for analysis purposes. Okay, here what happens is every transaction, real time, every transaction will get captured. a small inserts, right? One ATM transaction will get inserted. Okay, one ATM transaction will get updated. One ATM transactions might be deleted. Okay, but when you comes to OLAP databases, what happens is we deal with a huge amount of data. What are the transactions happened in the last 1 year? Okay, what are the transactions made by this particular person from the day which he is joined till today? Okay, so those kind of analytics will be happening on a OLAP. Okay, here there is no granular level data. Okay, what happens is here the data will get summarized. The summarized data will make a sense, will make you to get an informed decisions to run your business. This OLTP is not going to make you sense because OLTP talks very granular level of each record. Okay, so MySQL guys, did we discuss about it or not?
Yes.
We discussed this, right? So when we are discussing about MySQL, what are data warehouses, OLTP and OLAP, right? So the difference between the OLTP and OLAP is constraints. Why constraints? You want to have make sure the data is neat at a particular place. That neat place is called as an OLTP databases. So there is the transactions, what you see on OLTP is going to be a neat and a very granular. Okay, there is no possibility of going something wrong over there. Okay, so but when it comes to OLAP can able to adopt any kind of data. You can push, you can say there is a transaction happened 10 times, push the data into the OLAP because there is no constraints. No constraints means there is no primary key on a transaction ID. There is there is something like no checks on your transaction ID saying that it should not repeat. There is nothing you need to design on top of this. Okay, these guys are easily able to understand. Okay, and OLTP systems are little latency, I would say little tough to handle than OLAP. Right? Example, I would say I have written this query. Okay, so I'm writing this query. Insert into customer table. Okay, customer tables, values. So customer ID I'm going to insert. Okay, values is I'm going to put 101. Okay, so what happened is in OLTP, think that this is a OLTP table. Okay, in this OLTP table, customer ID is being designed as a primary key. Okay, so what it does first, when I try to insert this data, what are the actions it does in the backend? Think that there is a primary. Yeah, go ahead.
It will validate whether it is already existent.
So first thing it will do is validation. Okay, if it has to done some validation means backend it has to run some query, right? Then if it satisfies that there is no record, such record is available, then it will go and insert that. Okay, when I run the same query on OLAP there is no constraints. Okay, OLAP there is no constraints. No constraints means there is no primary key and foreign key. Not null check is already there. Not null will be always there in a OLAP. Okay, not null also we treat it as in a constraint only, right? So not nulls are still there when we don't have checks. We will learn that when we go into Snowflake. Okay? So now this particular query I'm running on a OLAP. There is on OLAP there is non-constrained databases are called OLAPs. Okay, OLAPs will not have any constraints. So when you run this particular query, it will never worry about whether the particular record is there or not. Okay, what it simply does is it will simply come here and just insert the data. Okay, you think that if this have been taken a one second and insert has taken a 1 second. Okay, it has totally the query has taken a 2 seconds, but here it will take only 1 second. Okay, because there is no constraints, there is no checks should happen over there. Okay, and also, right, so just keep in mind there are multiple differences between OLTP and OLAPs. Okay, so what happens is, but always the OLTP will become a source for the OLAPs, one of the source, because your every transactional data will come here. Okay, granular level. So think that I have made a 10 transactions, right? All my 10 transactions data will be available here. Okay, 10 individual transactions information available here. Okay, but when it comes to OLAP, what happens here it is the aggregated view of how many transactions I have made it. Okay, an aggregated view of transactions. Okay, your summarized data will be available on your OLAP. Okay, the granular level data will be available on your OLTP. Okay, so OLTPs are constrained databases, OLAPs are non-constrained databases. Snowflake is designed as a Snowflake is designed as a OLAP. Okay, so Krishna, I can't, is it possible for me to design it as an OLTP? Yes, you can do it. An extra, so when I say yes, you can do it, doesn't mean that you can put a constraints, like primary key or a foreign key. Okay, you can't put this. Okay, but what you can do is the functionality of this particular keys. What is a primary key? Primary key it should be unique, and there should not be not null in particular column table, right? A column, whatever that you have designed is a primary key in a table, should be never be null and never be a repeated value. Okay, then what you need to do is you have to write an extra logic. Okay, extra logic to check these constraints. Okay, if that satisfies your conditions, okay, then only load the data into the table. Okay, so you have to implement this extra logic. This extra logic is going to be a development prospect. You have to spend a time, and as you have to run this extra logic, you have to spend a servers or a compute has to be paid here. Okay, so you can maintain any OLAPs can be maintained like in OLTPs also, but what you need to do is you have to go and do this logics. You have to manually write this logics. Okay, but as an effective way, Snowflake is designed as an OLAP. Okay, that's the reason we learned MySQL as an OLTP. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Did I answer your question, or still you have a question? Who was that asked? Who was that asked the question? OLAP. Azure. Who was that? Okay, so did I answer? Anybody have questions on this?
Krishant, OLTP follows ACID properties, right? So OLAP doesn't follow this ACID, or both follows the ACID transactions.
So OLAP also works as an ACID properties. ACID properties, how the database is being designed, right? So if you do transactions on a OLAP also, it maintains the same acidic properties and it will does it. Okay, so here also you can put a transaction save points and all, you can able to do it. Okay, in case if you are doing any transaction is failing in between of processing, it will fail that particular point. Okay, so but acidic properties are good at a OLTP level or OLAP level, it's your wish. So anyway, the database will maintain that for you. You can ignore it also. So what happens is if there is some error. Okay, so now let me tell the OLTP, right? We discussed one of the example. There are two transactions, isolated transactions happening. Okay, isolated transactions is happening. In OLTP, one out of it fails is a total failure. Okay, when you comes to OLAP, okay, here also it's a failure, but you can overcome this one saying that continue if you are failed, continue if something is failed also. Okay, you can overcome this one saying that if a one transaction is failed, that's fine. I'm expecting there could be some failures will happen because some random data is coming to me. That's okay, totally. It's not OLTP, it's not a real-time data, right? Which is not coming a data directly from your sources from. This data is coming from some other systems. Okay, here I can say that I'm dealing with some data to loading into a table. Okay, at that particular point in time, if something goes wrong, that's okay. Okay, that's okay to have, that's okay. Just what you do is the rest of the data, continue loading the data. Okay, you can do this one. But if you are not overwriting this one, if you are not, educating that particular loading strategy, it is a still failure and go into an acidic properties. Okay, so usually what happens is some companies, right? When you go into some companies, there is a rejection threshold we call. Okay, what is this rejection threshold is? You got some huge data. So example, you got a 10 billion records. Okay, company says that out of this 10 million records, we can expect some bad records will be available. So it's okay. What do you do is, if that something like, if now 10%, right? 10 million of it, 10% is going to be, example, think that 1 lakh. Okay, so if there is a 1 lakh bad records are there, what you do is if 1 lakh bad records are getting rejected at the time of you loading the data, it's okay. You ignore that and load all the rest of the data. Okay, that's called as a rejection threshold. If anything going beyond 1 lakh, so what you need to do is you have to report it as an issue. Okay, because this is all analytical data. Okay, this is all data we are going to take in analytical data. The original source of that one, right? The original information of that particular records, you can anytime you can go back to the OLTP systems and you can check. Okay, so OLTPs are our ultimate source systems. Okay, so they will have the neat data will be available. So anytime if you have something, so but all the summarization will happen, right? So as it has this OLAPs will be designed to deal with a huge amount of data. Okay, OLTPs is designed to deal with only small amount of data every time. You can't run a big queries, big select statements, big functionalities and all. You cannot run in on OLTP databases because you will be putting a lot of pressure on the servers, because these servers are being deal within a real-time data. So any pressure on this particular databases, OLTP databases, is going to be struggle your missions, and whatever the real-time data is going to come up will get hampered. Okay, so for that reason, what we will be doing is OLTP is designed to do all the small transactions. Okay, our small calculations are small queries. When you go into OLAP, we will be all dealing with the complex queries, big queries will be running, summarizing this one. So here probably I will be talking about a day data or a week data or a monthly data or a yearly data maximum. Okay, but here when I go here, majorly I'll be talking about yearly data. I'll be talking about in a decade data, how this has been performed from the start of it. So those kind of complex queries all should go within OLAPs. Okay, so did I answer your question?
Yes, Krishna, actually, does that mean that OLAP will not receive the real-time data? That Snowflake will not receive the real-time data?
It will receive the real-time data. Okay. So example, let's call it as a real-time data. Okay. So real-time data, let's call it real-time data means, now example, some team, okay, some third-party team, okay, some third-party team, what is happening is they are collecting this all data on a real-time basis, okay, from some particular system, website or something. Okay, what they will be doing is they do some calculations from their end, and what they do is they will be dropping that data for us. Okay, what will happen is this data comes into some location. So example, I will take it as an S3 location, which is an AWS storage location. Okay, so as soon as the data is available in S3 location, you can able to have this data onto your Snow. Okay, very real time. So I would say instead of calling as a real time, let's call it as a near real time. Okay, what we can call near real time is there could be a slight latency of a few seconds or a minutes. There will be a latency will be available. Okay, so what happens is as soon as the data appears into a particular location and you trigger your Snowflake saying that there is, as soon as there is a data available at a particular location, what you do is you process the data and make sure it is available in a Snowflake. Okay, so you can do this one. Okay, so now this is one use case. Second use case is, so you have some website data information is there. So you have some APIs. Okay, this APIs has to finally load the data into Snowflake on a real-time basis. Okay, so now you can design your APIs to have the real-time data. Okay, real-time data to be available on a Snowflake. Okay, with no constraints. Okay, as soon as the data comes, you have to insert the data here. No constraints. So website page, a customer is opening a website, both page at the same time. Okay, don't put that kind of constraints. Okay, there is no constraints here, so the data can go wrong here. Okay, there is a possibility system might be working in a backend in a different way. Okay, so it might make a mistakes. If the mistakes appears, you should make sure this should not make it as a failure. Your ideology when you are creating it as in a real time over here, Snowflake, what it means is no failures I am expecting. Okay, so whatever data is going to appear to me, I want to store the data, then you will be going to have this kind of APIs information directly on your Snowflake. Okay, coming to Oracle, right? Oracle, when you're designing, right? So usually what is the intention of Oracle or OLTPs, right? So instead of Oracle, OLTP, let's call it as an OLTP. What is the intention of the OLTP databases, right? So I have to put in constraints over there, making sure there is no duplicates, there is no invalid data appearing to. Okay, so you can have a real-time data available on a Snowflake. You can have a real-time data available on a OLTPs. Okay, so it's totally your wish how you want to go into design it. But what is the failure mechanism you are going to handle or you are going to bear it? Okay, so in that cases, which one is going to be a very effective way? Which is going to be in a very effective way? You have to design it. Okay, so Snowflake also can have a real-time data. There is nothing like it can able to stop. Only thing is Snowflake, you cannot design it as any constrained databases. What if your ideology is whatever data is coming from me in a real time from a different source? It could be third party, it could be some source system, it could be some web pages or something, where whatever data is going to come, I want to store it as is. There is no checks, nothing should be happen. Then you can simply go and design with it. Okay. No, when the data is appearing into my system, I want to put some checks. Okay, whether the customer is a valid customer. Okay, whether the account number is valid account number for me. If you want to put that kind of checks and you want to make sure the data is a clean data, then you have to go with an OLTPs and you have to put the checks. Okay, does that make sense?
Okay, so that means when we are creating the table in Snowflake, there is no option to define the constraints.
There is no option to create the primary keys.
Okay.
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 You can create the primary key. So, instead of you create the primary key, I would say, so you can say like this, right? Create. This is one more use. They simply say, okay, it's OLAP, purely OLAP, no confusions. Okay. Create table name. Okay. So you can say column name. Okay. So column name, let's call it as data type as a varchar. So you can write it as a primary key. Okay. But this will not get enforced. Okay. This will not get enforced in the backend. If you can load a duplicate values, there is no problem. This will not going to stop you anyway. Okay. Why they are allowing to keep this primary key, Krishna, is it's a better understanding purpose. If someone tomorrow someone else comes and see this particular table, right? If you would have kept this primary key, they will get to know, okay, this column probably is a unique column so that I can use it for my analytical purpose. But this will not enforce you to have any constraints. Okay. This will not enforce. Make sense?
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
Anybody?
So when you say,
yeah.
So when you say this will not enforce, this mean that I can still add duplicate, get
Yes,
in like duplicate values to them.
Yes, you can add duplicates.
So what's the purpose of having this as primary key then?
Example, what is the purpose of primary key when we learned as a MySQL? Customer ID, usually we used to design customer ID as a primary key. What is the purpose of it?
Yeah, so that like we don't duplicate the.
We don't duplicate.
It's unique.
Why we are not duplicating? Purpose is when we want to join with another tables, our understanding the table is in a customer based on a customer ID. It's a very good to use the table, right? So to just throw that knowledge on this particular table, they will just put it as a primary. You put it, you don't put it, up to you. So usually when we design, if you want to share this knowledge with someone else, you create this table and you will leave it. Okay. If someone is coming and understanding this particular table, if you would have designed just a primary key, they will understand. Though OLAP, right, there is no primary key constraint, but still you have kept it here means you're trying to say that this column can be used to join with another tables. Okay. This is the best column in the table. You can be joined with another tables. Okay. But this is not going to enforce you that not to have a duplicate records. Okay. Does that make sense, Soumya?
Yeah. So I'm actually still trying to understand. So like, yeah, this is clear, but I'm just trying to understand like when we have like big data coming in, like if there is no checks or validations, like how do we do about it? Like, when I'm in like a new project and then
one thing
do we use
need to go is, yeah, Snowflake is a OLAP. There is no constraints. Okay. So what are the constraints we have it?
Primary key, foreign key, not null. Yeah.
Primary key, foreign key, not null. Okay. What else?
Check.
Okay. Check. What else?
Unique.
What is that?
Unique.
Yeah, unique. So these are all is there, right? Okay. So if you see this all is not applicable apart from this. Okay. Nothing is needed for OLAP. Nothing will work for OLAP. Okay. Only the thing will work for the OLAP is not null constraint. Okay. So now, just keep in mind, Soumya, what this Snowflake is a OLAP databases. Okay. So this is also very important question. Okay. So I have seen many people been asking this question. Okay. Snowflake is designed as an OLAP. So what happens is, let me tell you the reality, right? So you could see hundreds, tens of projects which are running, migrating data from an Oracle to Snowflake. Okay. So Oracle is a OLTP system and Snowflake is a OLAP system, right? They're moving everything from OLTP to OLAP. Okay. Whenever we talk in an interview saying that we are moving OLTP to OLAP, they will be asking saying that OLTP is your transactional data warehouse where we have a lot of constraints. But how you are going to handle that in a OLAP? Okay. So what is OLAP here? They will ask you this kind of conditions. Is a Snowflake, then we can call it as a Snowflake is a OLAP databases. Majorly it is designed for. Okay. What we will be doing is we will be creating the tables, according to the Oracle. Okay. And only apart from a not null, there is no constraints will be enforced in a OLAP systems in a Snowflake also. Okay. What happens is whenever we move this data, we will be doing a check saying that is there any duplicate records is coming up. So what we will be doing is we will be using a statements, right? So there is a merge statements. Okay, we will talk about this one, right? Insert then update, right? So insert then update statements. What we will be using is we'll be using the statements to make sure to maintain the SAD. If there are existing record is going to come up, okay, then we will be updating it. Existing record is an update. That means customer is who is already existing with us. If there are new record customer is coming, then we will be treating it as a new customer. Okay. So that kind of logic we will learn this one. Then you can able to explain this, how you are going to handle if there are, existing customer CDC data, right? So how we are going to handle the CDCs. Okay. So we'll discuss this going forward. So whenever we get in a migration activity, right? So nowadays you can see a lot of information who are moving from an Oracle to Snowflake. Okay. So there are tens and numbers of projects are running in this migrations. Okay. I'll quickly take this one. Even OLAP data warehouse has the primary keys, right? How do we handle duplicate data? So OLAP databases ideally will not be designed for any constraints. Okay. OLAP databases ideally will not be designed for a constraints. Okay. You take a Netezza, you can take a IBM Data Studio. So IBM Data Studio DB2, right? DB2, you can go to Greenplum is also, I believe it's a OLAP. Okay, so you can go different things, right? So these are not majorly designed for any constraint levels. Okay, so in case if you think that you have a primary key thing needs to be installed. Okay, what is something OLAP also? What we will do usually, right? So we do like this. In OLAP system, you're going to insert some data. Okay, insert the data. What is your requirement is before you inserting data, you have to make sure there are no duplicates. Okay, so what we do, there are no duplicates, data is going to come. So no duplicates, you cannot load the data. So what we do usually, so think that there is an existing table. Okay, there is a new data table. Okay, so new data is going to appear. Okay, so in the existing table, there is a customer ID is equals to 101 is there. Okay, in new data, what is happening is customer ID 101 is there and 102 is also there. Okay, so now if I insert this data again into this table, right, it's becoming a duplicate for me. So how we are going to handle is we will check first, we will perform a check. What the check is, check if this 101 is already present over here. Okay, if this matches, then we treat it as an update. We don't treat it as an insert. Okay, so what is an update? So think that very general term, right? So we don't need to go logically of understanding this one. Okay, so example, what happens is I have a bank account. Okay, I'm an existing customer in the bank. Okay, so I'm having a bank account. I'm existing customer in a bank. Okay, so I have opened an account. Okay, and then my account is going to have a 1 lakh rupees there in my account. Okay, then I'm already customer over there. So then what happens is in their system, whenever I opened an account, so they got a one record saying that Krishna has opened an account today and he is having a 1 lakh rupee in his bank. Okay, so next time after 1 week or 10 weeks, what happens is there is a new record appear in the system. Okay, so because I went to bank and I have credited, so I have credited another 1 lakh rupee in my bank account. In their system, there is a new record been appeared. Okay, that new record is says that, so the new record is called nothing but here. So another 1 lakh rupee is been inserted to totally 2 lakh rupees is there. Okay, so now when I go here, is it possible for them, or is it a right way for them to put in another Krishna record and a different transaction here? Or what you do is, if you go and check, Krishna is already there. He has a 1 lakh before. Now another 1 lakh rupee has came in. So what you need to do is you have to change this particular record as an updated record. Update is total transaction. Total amount he is having is equals to 2 lakhs. Okay. This, whenever there is a common customer appears. Okay, whenever there is a common customer appears, we will treat that particular record as an update. That means he made some transaction. He made something. Okay, he is existing with us, but he made something different. So that something different is something, bring it up and update it in our system. Okay, so in case if there is a new customer appears, it will go and check whether 102 is there or not. Okay, then what will happen is it's not there, right? So then what they will do is they will do a 102 as an inserted record. Okay, in this way, you are not going to have a duplicates at any time. To do this activity, we will call it as in a CDC, change data capture. Okay, we will be performing this change data capture type 1, type 2, how you want to maintain the data. Okay, this we will calculate. So this way you can able to ignore the duplicates. You are not going to have a duplicates data. Okay, in traditional data warehouse system, dimensions do have primary keys, right? Yeah, dimensions will have. For example, customer dimension here. If I want to build a customer dimension in Snowflake, how do we maintain this integrity? So Yeah, customer dimension in a, okay, in a Snowflake, you want to maintain it, right? So dimensions are usually in a actual values. Okay. Okay. So our dimensions are going to have an actual values, right? So if you want to maintain a dimensions, okay. So usually what is the dimensions will have? So let's call it as a, this dimension is for the demographic. Okay. So demographic means a customer is there and customer location details. Okay. Customer location details is going to be your dimensions. Okay. So here you have a customer ID. Okay. Customer ID and location. Okay. When that particular record is being entered into this particular dimension table, that's called as a load date. Okay. So it's not always the customer is going to stay in that particular location forever in his lifetime. It's not possible, right? People will be changing their locations. Okay. When they change their locations, they have to update their locations also. Okay. That means if there is any updated timestamp is happened, any update, anything, anytime they have location got been updated. Okay. So like this, you think this is your dimension is talking about. How you can able to maintain these dimensions, right? How can you maintain this dimension is 101 was there in Delhi. Okay. So first time when he entered 2020-0101. Okay. And this becomes a null. Okay. When he opened an account, what happened is he is in a Delhi customer ID. This particular record being entered into my system is on 2020 and null. Okay. Then this guy moved out. Okay. So then when this guy is moved out, then what will happen is he moved to Mumbai. Okay. What I will be in dimensions also, what we will be doing is we will be updating this record. When he updated his record in a backend system, what will happen is 101 has moved to Mumbai. Okay. He moved to Mumbai. When he moved to Mumbai, whenever he updated it. So 2021 0201 on February, sorry, 02 on February 1st, 2021, he moved to Mumbai. Okay. Now from dimensions, whenever you're reading a data from your dimensions, what you need to do is select customer ID from your customer table. Okay. Where you need to have this updated date is a maximum. Okay. You need to have your updated date is maximum for that particular customer. So then you will be getting always your latest ones. Okay. This is a one way of handling it. Okay. Another way of handling is making it as an active record. Okay. That's something I'll explain when you go into the CDC. We will be maintaining dimensions also into CDCs. Okay. Does that make sense, Raj? Ravi, sorry. Yeah. Okay. How can you maintain the integrity is this particular column is getting maintained integrity for you. Next time he moved from Mumbai to Hyderabad. This particular updated date is going to change to whenever day he is being updated in system. This will help you to make you an integrity. Okay. So now I would say select statement, right? A simple select statement, you can write a row number function, right? So select, you will be getting a record. Select star from table, or not select star. Select star row number over partition by customer ID, order by update date as row num from your table where row num is equals to 1. So let's put it this is in descending order. Okay. So this will get you your latest record where exactly he is staying right now. Okay. So using this information, you will be joining with the different fact tables and getting the information. Fact tables, sorry, reverse way, right? Fact tables will get joined with your dimensions to get all your actual values. Okay. Fact tables is going to have only measures. Okay. So you got an integrity maintained in your system. How you are going to maintain the integrity? So which column is helping you to maintain the integrity is how you are going to design your table. Is everyone make sense this one? If you don't understand what is dimension, is totally fine. Okay. So, but you guys understand this scenario? Kanna, Lakshmi, you there? Sampath, you there?
Yes, Krishna, I'm here.
Yeah, you guys able to get this, Lakshmi?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. Sampath, it's been long time, Sampath, we spoke. Okay, good. Ravi, does it make sense, Ravi? Okay. Salman?
Yes.
Yeah, if you have further, I'm not still convinced, but I will wait until we discuss CDC to get more clarity. We can move on. Okay, I will discuss. Yeah, we will be discussing fact table on this one. So when we implement CDC, right, you will be getting to know how we are going to maintain the facts and dimensions. Okay, there will be updates happening, Ravi. Okay, so how we are going to handle that updates? Okay, updates are deletes also. What if the customer left that company? How you are going to handle that information? Okay, so we will be learning this anyway, don't worry. So at least you are sync with if we get real-time scenarios, right? In a bank, if you get this kind of scenarios, how it needs to be handled. Okay, so how to implement the logic is something we will learn. Okay, but how real-time, so as a very generic plan, how we want to handle it, right? So but that you will get it right, how we are going to handle this. Cool. Yeah. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, so with this, I'm stopping for today. Okay, so what we do is on coming next day, so January 1st is going to be holiday to all. Okay, so and I just want to talk about a product. Okay, so I'll just give product. We have down that server, but still we have down that server. Okay, so but just I'll give you a glance about this product. Okay, so let me quickly still blind. Okay, so we have down this server. It's okay. Let me explain this. Okay, so we have a product called Eksha. Okay, so Eksha is the product we have created by our own team. Okay, so few of the freshers who trained from us and few of the industry experts, they all work, and this Eksha been created by using an AI. Okay, it's in a bot. Okay, this bot will help. So how we have designed this bot is this bot will do an AI interview based on your resumes. Okay, what it will do is if you once you inject your resume, okay, automatically it identifies that what exactly the technology you are looking for and what are the technical components you've been added into your system, and it will ask you saying that rate yourself on that particular technologies. Once you rate yourself, AI will be appearing in front of you, including capturing a video and everything. And what it will be doing is it will be taking an interview for you based on the technical components given on your resume. Okay, as a students, we are going to give this product and you will be getting this very soon also. So what you can do is once your resumes are done, so you can inject that, you can set you can give that resume with the bot will start interviewing for you, and bot will provide a multiple results and multiple analytics. Okay, one is an ATS, which is an application tracking system. So we will matching your resume with industrial resume, and we will be giving a score to it, saying that how much good is your resume, what can be where and all you're lacking on your resumes. Okay, and third one, it will give you a ratings on your technical components, how you are going to answer it. Okay, and finally we will be having a video to identify whether it is a genuine legit videos or the people have also been answering legit. Okay, so like this we have multiple analytics we are going to generate, and we'll be, so usually what will happen is this analytical reports will be shared within a management system. So management system will be able to understand how really you are going to interviewing, how good you are at the particular technologies. Okay, so we are going to use this information for a different purposes. So internal hiring are sending for a different people's, okay, based on the level you are going to do it. Okay, so this Eksha is been development is almost done. So product is also being released, not publicly, it is internally preview stage. It is all the testing is going on. So we for now it's running all everything on an load balancers, AWS and all multiple technologies being used to it. Okay, so we will be going to release it soon. So once the demo is ready, probably we'll arrange a demo over a weekend so you guys can join it. This facility we have given only for our students to take it for now. Okay, so that you can do it any number of times. You can log into the system, provide your resume, start giving interviews, so that you can build in your confidence also how you want to do it in interviews. Okay, so that's all. So I don't talk more about it. So when really our product comes into in front of you, that speaks a lot. Okay, so just a glance about Eksha. So we will be discussing that more, and my admin teams will be arranging in a product. So this workshops for multiple people. So we have a trial version been done, soft launch been done in a couple of weeks back, and we have given it for a few of the folks. Okay, but going forward, this will be available for everyone. Okay, I think with that note, I think I'm done for today.